I'm gonna start this recording. Man, I'm telling you, the shit has been going down. The shit is crazy as hell right now. These dudes. I mean, people keep saying like, "Oh, this is gonna be the last time I'm gonna talk about this shit," but no, it's not. This ain't gonna be the last time, bro. Cause like they gonna do something else, and people gonna say something. But I just feel like, damn. I mean, it's just so disappointing with CDPR. This shit is crazy. Like this one dude is talking about it. You seeing the glitches, and then, like I said, you can't. I said this too. I was like, it's upper management that need to get played. Cause I mean, like I said, you got the devs, like the 3D artists and shit. You know, they doing what they just paid to do. I mean, they're doing what they have to do. It's just like, other than that, what else do you want them to do, basically? And the programmers and shit, they're programming, and I'm pretty sure they was like, yo, cause I mean, you even hear some of the shit that people were saying up there. They're like, yo, stuff is not right. Cause I'm hearing all types of shit now, like people saying, yo, it's not right. Things need to get fixed. And it's just the upper management. I said that a couple videos ago. The upper management is the problem. Like you can't blame nobody. You can't blame the devs. You can't blame the programmers. You can't blame nobody but upper management because the shit was too crazy. I mean, their motherfucking greed was too major. That shit was too major. And they fucked up bad. Like I don't, like I said, I don't know if they could come back from this. I don't think they could come back from this because this was the biggest blunder in motherfucking gaming history since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna seriously? I mean, you should have known better. Like you should have seriously known that people are anticipating this game. Why did you fuck this up so bad? I mean, you honestly have to ask the question. Why did you fuck this up so bad? I mean, this was bad. Like, and again, I've never seen in my life, like I said, this December 25th will be 31 years of me playing video games. I have never seen in the history of life, I've never seen a game this hyped in all my days. Never. You couldn't pay me enough money to think of what was close to this. The only thing I could say is like, and I'm even debating this as a real legit thing. Like I would say Red Dead Redemption, but that's stretching it. That is stretching it though. Like I don't know. I just don't know. But all they fucked up. CD Project Red, they fucked up bad. I mean, people are straight going in. But I could have told everybody and anybody, look, don't get hyped over these companies to begin with. Don't be hyped over them. And I'm looking at it like, look, I'll have. There's only two companies, two that I would fuck with, but even still, they they don't get passes. Truth. Okay, this is it. This is it. Nobody gets a pass. Nobody. Nobody gets a pass. I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody. But it's like I fuck with Rockstar and Square Enix. I fuck with them. But it's just like everybody's on thin ice though. Just everybody's just on thin ice. Nobody gets a pass. Cause I could safely say like I enjoy most of their games that they put out. Despite what's the Final Fantasy 15, despite how that burned my ass. That was, to me, that was a disappointment. That was a real big disappointment. But at the same time though, Final Fantasy games, I fuck with them heavy. Cause they had a lot of cool games. Like 7 obviously. And then motherfucking 9 was cool. Um what else was cool? Like, despite how people felt about Lightning, she was cool, but she just didn't deserve. She didn't need all them games. It could have just been Final Fantasy 13, and they could have just left it at that. It didn't need a 13-2. It didn't need a Lightning's Return. Like, at that point, it was just like, what are we doing with her? You know what I mean? And she wasn't all that compelling in the first place. Like, I mean, even though I like this particular character I'm about to name, but it just felt like she was like if Cloud and Motoko had a kid. And I'm like, so Lightning, she was but like I said, Final Fantasy, like Square Enix and shit, they're cool. But a lot of these other games, like Pearl Abyss that make Black Desert, I mean, they're cool. I I guess, cause I mean I like Black Desert, but it's just like some of the MMO like structure, like the fetch quest shit needs to stop. And it is just like, truth be told, on a lot of these games, just a lot of them though, they need to change the way that their missions operate. Like like it was something I was saying, like how they, like when you have to chase somebody, they go through all around the map. They just don't go straight to their destination. And then it's like they need to stop like they need to stop a couple of shit. Like all this hiding in tall grass, and then there's like trying to find like in Cyberpunk, you gotta find like 20 tarot cards in this big open world map. Like, stop doing that shit. There's certain shit in video games that need to stop, bro. Cause they've been going on and on for this shit for at least 20 years. Because I remember, like, I would never have players do shit that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't be going through like a big open world map trying to find like 5 things. Like, that shit is trash. And it takes too much time. Like, I'm not doing that. No, 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 no. That shit ain't happening. Cause it's just too much at that point. Yeah, there's no way, dude. But a lot of this shit needs to change. And like I said, the video game industry, why are you releasing games with this many bugs in it? And then it just makes you feel like somebody was on some real shit and fucked up. Because you knew damn well that this game was buggy as all hell, and you just gonna release the shit. That was trash, bro. And everybody was anticipating this game and making, and then now you got memes being made of your ass. Like, come on, bro. You should have known better. You should have known better. You gonna release some shit like this, and now everybody's getting in your ass. That was, I mean, you got nobody to blame but yourself on some real shit. Cause you knew for a fact that shit was bad, and you just kept it going. Like I said, that just couldn't be. See, it's one thing if you honestly didn't know. That's one thing, but even still, that's not an excuse. Especially like, especially nowadays, there's no excuse for you not to know about your shit like that. And then it just makes me think that these dudes, these nutsacks at the top, at the head of these companies, they don't play games. Because if it were me, I would have been at the top of my company. And I would have known, I would have been like, wait a minute. Why am I clipping through the map like this? And then somebody would have said something, oh, because see, it wasn't optimized right. I'd be like, man, you gotta optimize this shit right. I'm not putting this shit out like this. And then why make release dates? That's another thing these motherfuckers should stop doing. Stop. I mean, just be on some real shit. Just like on some real shit. Like it'll be finished when it'll come out when we're finished with it. Don't make a release date. Make sure your shit is up to par with whatever you put in the game on. Like whatever platform you putting that bitch on. Make sure your shit is right. If you knew for a fact, if you knew your shit wasn't gonna look right on PlayStation 4, you could have just been like, this is just PS5 and the Xbox XYZ, whatever the fuck it is. And then just be like, yo, this is gonna come out the way it's gonna come out. Fuck the old gen shit. And then, I mean, but again, people they can't find the motherfucker. So you can't really fault people for not getting a PlayStation 5 because them shit's hard to find. I mean, this shit is crazy. And this shit is real bad. Like you hear the disappointment in people's voices and shit. I mean, because it was almost like, I don't know, it just felt like I don't know, I don't even know what to say. It just felt like somebody just hit you in the stomach hard, like poof, and you just like, ah. You got played and shit, and you just like you don't know why you got beat like that. That's like, I'm not trying to laugh, man. I'm not trying to laugh, but that's how that shit feels. See, that's what I'm saying. My expectations for this game was already low. Cause I don't like first person shooters to begin with. So it was like this game already started off trash. I'm not a first person shooter fan, but I was like, look, I'm gonna at least give this a chance. I'm gonna at least get out my comfort zone and try this shit at least. Like, could you look? Could you imagine? Like I said in my other videos, the first person shooter game I played was GoldenEye in 1998. Then it was like Perfect Dark was like 2000, 2001, something around that time. No, I no. I think it was like 2002. Then from 2002 all the way to 2010 was Mirror's Edge. I didn't even play half. Look, I never even beat GoldenEye. I was playing that shit over people's houses because I didn't have a 64. I had a PlayStation. Perfect Dark, my friend had the Nintendo 64. So I was just playing it over his house, like, and it was just like deathmatch or whatever. That's all we did. And then um and then Mirror's Edge, I played half of that shit and was like, nah, this ain't no. Nah. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I get motion sickness and shit. I don't get motion sickness and all that. You know what I mean? But it was just like it's just that whole first person shooter shit is just weird. To me, is weird, and it's like artificial and to begin with, because it's just like we have peripherals and panoramic views and shit, and it's like I don't know. It's just like you just you. The first of all, the camera don't make sense because it doesn't feel like you're walking, like how you see a third person. Like in third person, you see the person like walking and moving, going upstairs. It just seems like there's just a floating camera. It just floats. It just glides everywhere, and then it's just like you just see a floating gun just floating and shit. I'm like, and then when you open packages, like I saw this one chick play Prey, and then even Cyberpunk, it's just like things just open. Like you ain't got animations move. It's just I don't like first person. It just and then it's just like if you get close to an enemy, it's just the enemy like it's just all in your face. Like, come on, son. Like you ain't telling them, yo, man, back up. It's just like first person. To me, I like, to those who like this shit, more power to you. But it was like for me, it's trash. Then my man was like, after whatchamacallit, Mirror's Edge in 2010. Then my man was like, he was like, Destiny 2 was like free. It was free somewhere like a year or two ago. So I was like, I ain't gonna pass up a free game. So I was like, let me get this shit. And then I played up until the dude with the big white, like the white armor suit, and he kick your character off of the ship, and you fall into like this like meadow, like some like resistance camp or something. I was like, nope, I'm turning this shit off. Never played it again. So then it was like, I think the not what is it called? Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I think that was free, and so I was like, I'm going to. This was it. I was like, I'm gonna play this shit to try to get used to what Cyberpunk might be. I was like, that was my thing, and then I couldn't get past that part when you gotta be in the police station, and you gotta like you gotta find some vent. I was like, nope, I haven't touched that since. But I was like, I'm gonna give Cyberpunk a chance. You got Mike Pondsmith making it. Keanu Reeves is in it. I was like, let me seriously give this a chance. And it's like it's like, dude, on some real shit. Could you imagine trying to actually be like, I'm gonna give this game a chance? This is going to be the first person shooter that I'm willing to give a chance after all this time. And it was just like, wow. And then I'm still trying to get my motherfucking money back. I haven't even I hollered at PlayStation. I'm like, yo, I did this shit 3 times. Like, the message should have been sent. I want my motherfucking money from this. This game, again, let me reiterate, it's not the bugs. Like, I'm not having like clipping through the map type shit, or like I'm having a lot of the bugs that people like, textures popping up too slow, crashes. I'm experiencing that shit. But again, the Division was the same thing. So it was like, and I only was playing the Division. Oh, I'm gonna go on a long rant about that. Cause that's when I saw the first, like, the Cyberpunk trailer, when he was like, I'm living a crime ridden city, and it's like, they described the Division 2 in somewhere in that shit. So I was like, cause I'm playing GTA a lot, and then I see a third person shooter, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? And then it was like, it was the Division 2. So I was like, they made a 1? And so I got it. Now, I didn't know nothing about the Division. I didn't know none of the terminology. I didn't know nothing. I just saw it was a third person shooter. Let me get the first one. So I'm like getting the first one. And doing the tutorial, I see the bad guys. I shoot dude in the head. So I was like, he's still around? Because I'm playing GTA. You shoot somebody in the head, it's over with. So I'm like, I shot him in the head. I'm like, how's he still alive? Then I shoot him again. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker just won't die. So I'm shooting him like a couple times, and then he finally dies. I'm like, yo, something is going on. I didn't know. And then I hear the terminology bullet sponge. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then it was like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is just madness. This is madness. I didn't know nothing. And then I'm just experiencing all type of glitches and crashes, the enemies glitching through the map. You know what I mean? But at the same time though, I was like getting connected with different like friends. So it was like, I was only going to stay in this because of the people I was meeting. That was it. If I never met any cool people on that game, then I would have been like, nah, because I was experiencing too many bugs and crashes. So it's not like I'm not familiar with this shit, because I was experiencing that shit on the Division 1 hard. That shit was crazy. So it's like the whole Cyberpunk shit. The whole Cyberpunk shit isn't really the issue. Because I'm not experiencing like all these weird, like real crash, like real issues. Like even for me, the one that's always going around when Jackie is like trying to give you the chip, and he got the gun through his head, and he picks it out, he got the gun and shit. Mine didn't even do that. Mine, because okay, if everybody remembers, it's the same thing when V is like, fuck yeah, he hits the top of the roof of the car and Jackie is dying, but they have on street clothes. In the game, they had on suits because of where they was at. My version, Jackie kept his street clothes and the suit kept glitching in and out. I got this shit recorded. I was like, yo, what the fuck? So that's what my shit did. Mine wasn't the gun in the head and he picked it out and was trying to give V the gun and shit. Mine didn't do that. So, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to laugh at Cyberpunk, but they fucked up. They fucked up real bad. I mean, if I was a dev on that game, I don't know how I would feel. I just don't know how I would feel about it. I mean, cause I know this though. I would be pissed. I would be real mad though. See, knowing me, oh, I would have been mad, cause I would have been like, I told these motherfuckers that this had problems. Nobody ain't listening to me. Fuck that. Who is that dude? Adam Kaczynski? Oh, I don't know, some dude up there. I would have been like, fuck him, kick him in his nutsack. I would have been on some real shit. I would have been like, I told everybody, but nobody ain't listen. I would have been like that, cause I would have been mad. Oh, I would have been mad. Cause this shit is just, this shit is too severe. But again, I don't get these companies. I really don't. Just and then you did not hear what Bethesda, because I saw this dude make a documentary about Fallout 76. And I'm like, you know, with the Nuka dark rum and the docs, like you try to get something and they put your information out there. The game was broken and he kept saying it just works. And he just looked like a privileged bitch. And I'm like, and that was when? This is 2020. When was that? Like early 2019 or something? Regardless of that, you've heard, like, people in the industry hear certain shit before it hits the streets. It will stand the reason for that to happen. You telling me that with Anthem and especially with Bethesda that made Fallout 76, every industry should have been like, we're not being them. Every industry should have had that standard, like, we're not being Doom. So you wouldn't have these issues. But Cyberpunk, they was like, nah, we ain't listening to that. I just really don't understand why these things happen the way they happen. And it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, you wanted the holiday money, but damn. I mean, your shit was highly anticipated. I mean, the hype alone should have made you be like, yo, we're not putting out anything less than this. I mean, just the hype alone. I mean, you almost have to live up to the shit. Like, I don't... I just don't understand. Somebody is hyping you up to the 10th degree. All these people in the industry knows that no other game has been this hyped before in life. Never. I mean, you just didn't wake up yesterday. You wasn't born yesterday and was like, I'm just in the video game industry. And you never heard none of the shit. Like, you never heard of Pac-Man, Mario, Sonic, none of the mascots like Crash, Spyro. You ain't hear none of Rayman. What was my man's name? Bubsy the Bobcat, you ain't hear none of that shit. You didn't hear none of the console wars. You didn't hear a goddamn thing. You was born December, no, whatever you was born, and you got in the industry. You didn't hear none of the shit, and you was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you know for a fact that Cyberpunk 2077 was the most hyped game in all of the land. By that definition, you should have lived up to the shit. Like, you hear people saying, yo, I mean, let's go, boys, and doing all that goofy shit. You should have been like, look, we're gonna make this shit right. Like, we come in, I mean, all the shit, all the like, I lived in a crime-ridden city, and this is in that doom, and you see the montage, and the person had the gun and got shot in the store, and then the trauma team coming, and it's like, oh, and he had the gun at the end, and it was like, it's like, you did that, bro. You made this shit. Like, you made people want to buy this shit. People like me that don't like first person shooters said, fuck it, I will give you 60 motherfucking dollars. $5 plus tax to play this shit. But at the same time, I was like, I don't like first person shooters. I'm not hyped up for it, but I like what they was doing. And it's like, you fucked up. I mean, it's just like, if it was like, there was that you had a bad day or a nice day song, whatever the fuck it was called. I mean, that's like, I can't even describe the shit. I mean, you fucked up. You tripped right at the finish line. You know, you didn't even you didn't even trip. You didn't trip. You was 10 feet from the finish line, and you just pulled a gun out and shot yourself in the head and said, "Fuck it." Like, you intentionally fucked it up. Or it was almost like you running to the finish line, but then you got distracted with some chick with some big titties, and she flashed them, and you was like, hold up, what? And you walked over to the chick and was like, hey, what's your name? What's your number? And at all the other races, you just lost the shit. Like, you got distracted from because you wanted the holiday money. You fucked up. I mean, all I could do was laugh. All I could do is all I could do is laugh. But I don't want to laugh at the devs. I mean, because they I mean, they was like putting like what 100 hours a week. I'm like, god damn. I don't even do that with my own shit. You know what I'm saying? I put in like, I would say from 8, I would say about 4 or 5 hours a day. I'm not putting 100 hours a week. God damn. And then, like, I look on some real shit. I really feel for the devs. I mean, 100 hours a week. They're away from their families. I mean, that's some real shit. And then this happens. I'm like, no, that shit is just too much. And then this, and they knew it was anticipated. They knew the hype. But it was like I said, the dudes at the top seem like they don't play games. They don't understand how this shit works. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the minds of dudes. But I'm like, I mean, this was real bad. This was real bad. I mean, they got played. I just feel like, look, like this is not a serious video of me doing something, because I don't know what I wanted to do in the first place in this. So I just tried to I didn't, and it is like I didn't know what sword homegirl had, like which sister had the sword. So I'ma just stop. But I just had to make this video on some real shit. The game industry, like I said, it's not dead, but it's in critical condition or like life support. Because if you had this game up so high, and then it was just like I mean, it was like the Titanic. I mean, remember the I mean, nobody is alive to remember the Titanic, but it was like the White Star Line said this is the most unsinkable ship and shit. And you got all these rich people like my red. That would get her to Titanic. We're gonna have a smashing good time and all this shit. And you know they had the champagne bottle and hit this shit on the boat, and everybody's getting on the boat. People rich and having a good time on the sea, and just in the ocean, just living it up. And then the iceberg came, said, "I'm splitting your bitch in half. I'm gonna show you how unsinkable this shit is." And it just split the bitch. That the bugs was the iceberg. That was on some real shit. I mean, and it went up in the air, snapped in half. Everybody seen Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio. If you haven't watched that shit, it was Cyberpunk was that. Cyberpunk was the Titanic. It was this map. Out of all the years of me playing games, 31 mad years, I've never seen a game this hyped up in the first place. Games come out, you play them, that's it. Like especially with how we used to get down. It wasn't, we didn't have the internet growing up like that. So we didn't hear all these different people's opinions and reviewers and shit. Nobody read the magazines like Nintendo Power or Game Informer. We bought the shit for the pictures. That's it. We wasn't reading people's reviews of the shit. We didn't care. So it was just like games just existed, and we just bought them shits. And it was just like if Mario or Sonic came out with a game, that's what we was gonna rock with. That was it. That was how it was. Now with the internet and people heating up and tearing people down and shit, it got crazy. And you hear all these other people that's trying to be celebrities and shit. It's just like it's something different. But I've never seen a game this hyped in my life. Period. Just on that shit alone. Never seen a game this hyped. Then I've never seen a game crash this hard. This is something separate. This is two shits. A hype game to the point of just godlike shit, and then a game that just crashed into oblivion. Then I never seen a game have both things happen to him at one time. I mean, just what the fuck was this? I mean, I've never seen a game hyped up and crash at just this one product. That shit is bananas, son. That shit is bananas. That shit I've never seen the shit. Never. And then you a first person shooter, I already don't like you. I mean, the world looks like some cyberpunk shit. I like how it looks. But all the other shit, it's just like, okay, if the game never was like this, I could have literally been like, in an alternate universe, this game had no bugs, it don't crash, it's flawless on all platforms. I could have been like, look, I don't like first person shooters. I hate first person shooters. But I fuck with this. I fuck with Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I will play all 3 life paths. But unfortunately, that shit didn't happen. I don't know what I don't it's hard. Ooh, wow. And then it's like, and then people on PC is talking shit. It's look. I'm working on my PC. I'm making a game. I'm not putting extra shit on my shit. I bought an Ethernet cable for the PlayStation 5. I got the camera for the shit. And I mean, why, like I said, why would I play Cyberpunk on PlayStation 4 if I could have gotten the 5? I would have been playing Cyberpunk on PlayStation 5 and I wouldn't have this bad of an experience. So it's not like all that bullshit. It's not like, nah. I just and then the people that's really upset. I feel for a lot of people. I feel for a lot of people. All the people that reviewed it, and you hear the disappointment in the voice. It literally feels like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they have to take that shit. It's almost like they have to eat that shit. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of these reviewers was hyping this shit up, which they were. And then now it's just like, it's a gut punch. And they got kicked in the nuts at the same time. And they can't get the assailant. They just got hit and kicked, and there's nothing they could do about it. And then the devs. I would have raised holy hell if I was one of these devs. The programmers, 3D artists, I would have said something. Like, I would have, some of them, like on some like conference call, or you people reading the transcripts. No, if I were them, look, listen. Sometimes some things are just like, usually in these situations you don't say too much, or you don't go out in the world and be like, you know, getting on your soapbox or whatever. It's not real polite to do certain shit. But in this case, this is a special case. If I were any of the devs, if I were y'all, I would be making YouTube videos. I would be somewhere on some real shit, saying exactly what happened. I'm talking to the devs because I'm doing this shit at my home. So, like I said, if I worked at a company and this shit happened, oh, I don't know. I would have been somewhere saying something. The devs, I'm talking to y'all. Say something. Say exactly what happened. Because then you will be looked at as a hero, technically. Then, two, it will give people a better insight exactly what happened instead of just speculating to a certain degree. People would have been like, yo, my man, he was like, the boss slapped him in the face and chained him up to his desk and fucked his bitch or something. I mean, like, they'd be like, oh shit, we feel for dude. The boss shouldn't have fucked his bitch and chained him up. This ain't slavery. And then we would have felt like a whole different thing. It's just like, oh, it was that dude. Like, usually when, like, you got rape victims, or like somebody like did something to like a group of chicks, and it's like the first chick says something, then the rest of the chicks get emboldened, and you know they're like, oh, I got a voice because homegirl said something. The other days would be like, yo, my man said something, we was in the trenches, what he said was true, we could back dude up. And then people would be like, damn, it's like that. I mean, I would have said, I would seriously say something. Because this is a special case. Like if there was other cases, I mean, you know what I mean? Like usually in other work environments got crunch. It's, you know, it's the same story, you know, whatever. But this though, this is a special case. This is something different. But then it'd be like some people be like, oh, but somebody might not hire them again. Nah, there's ways to get around that, bro. Because because truth be told, this will send a message to other video game companies that they can't do this shit. This is too fucked up. This is too fucked up. And it would just send the message, be like, you can't just put out games just because you want holiday money. And then, oh my God, the holiday money was irrelevant to begin with. The holiday money was super irrelevant. That's an excuse, my man. That is an excuse. Why is irrelevant? Because this game was already hyped up to begin with. It wouldn't have mattered when they put this out. They would have got the same money anyway. Nobody would have cared. Like if it was like we want holiday, they could have literally put this game out like, I don't know. Like, cause it was so hyped up. It wouldn't have mattered what calendar date they said. They could have literally said this game is coming out in February, and people would have waited. They would have came up with a 13th month just to get this shit. They would have literally said like, look, this game is coming out motherfucking March 3rd. They would have got the St. Patrick's Day money. It would have been you could have literally had this shit in. It could have been June, July, August. It could have been anywhere. It could have been in October. They would have got Halloween money. They could have put this game out anytime and would have got the same result if everything was solid. They wouldn't have needed the Christmas money. Because they would have got whatever anyway. It would have still sold the 8 million pre-order sales or some shit. It would have had the same effect no matter when it was. You could have released the shit on the moon. People would have got it on the moon. People, it wouldn't have mattered. So trying to rush this shit out for the holiday season was dumb. That shit was dumb in the first place. They fucked up bad. They fucked up, son. I mean, this is some real shit. This is brother Brogito saying this. This is some real shit. You, CD Projekt Red, you fucked up real bad. Like, congratulations, you played yourself. You played yourself super bad. I mean, super bad. It wouldn't have mattered. People wanted this shit. It's like that Tyra Banks meme, like we were all rooting for you type shit. I don't like first person shooters, but I was rooting for this shit. I mean, because of the people attached to it. Mike Pondsmith, Keanu Reeves. I like the cyberpunk world. I mean, it was just like, okay, I don't like first person shooters, but everything else about the shit was hitting. And then you completely fucked up. And the shit was 100% unnecessary. You could have literally put this anywhere. It could have been January 1st. Nobody would have went, like, if COVID never happened. People would have been like, fuck New Year's Eve and all this shit and the ball drop. We playing Cyberpunk. It wouldn't have mattered. Valentine's Day. It wouldn't have mattered like, oh, like your chick is like, oh, let's do something, let's go out to eat. But like, bitch, don't you see I'm trying to play Cyberpunk? I ain't got no time for you. You want some chocolate? Go to the store and get you a Snickers bar. Something. It wouldn't have mattered. 4th of July, it wouldn't have mattered when you put this out. People was going to buy your shit. You, even though the strategy does make sense of putting the game out around Christmas because people were buying. But again, this game was so hyped. The law of holiday money is just thrown out the window because it was like, fuck it, we want this shit anywhere. But the top management, they need to get played. If you ain't gonna outright beat them in the streets, then they just need to get fired. They need to get fired. They need to get fired. You and then that all that goodwill shit. Like I said, I never played The Witcher 3. I never played none of the Witches. So all that goodwill shit for me didn't even matter. Yo shit started with Cyberpunk, son. That's when the shit started for me. And then it's like, I mean, like anything, any little thing good of CD Projekt Red. I mean, you lied. You didn't show shit intentionally because of this. People couldn't have reviewer codes for consoles. You hid the console shit. Then you want to lie. Then you want to kind of like throw like what PlayStation under the bus, and just you fucked up. I mean, this is a royal fuck up, bro. You. It doesn't matter what you do. It look. Some people say everybody deserves a second chance. But in this, like I said, all this is special cases. You don't deserve no second chance, bro. I mean, cause this was too severe. It was just like how Bethesda was fucking up with what's it called? Fallout 76. You don't get no chance. I mean, after all the shit you did, you lied. The bottle was janky. The little Nuka rum bottle was janky. It wasn't pour right. You gotta take the shit apart to get the shit. The shit tastes bad. Putting out people's like information. You lied on stage and the game was glitchy. Like you can't come back from shit like that. Like in this situation in the gaming world, you shouldn't come back from that. Because why are we accepting this shit? Nobody should accept shit like this. You pay $60 for a fucking game. You deserve to play a whole game for $60. I'm not trying to spend $60 to play half a game. And then I gotta wait for the shit to get good. Like, come on, what world does that? Like, you don't go to a restaurant and like you don't go to Burger King and they give you half a burger and then they say like wait 6 months or a year to get the rest of it and then you gotta pay DLC. The fries are the DLC. Like, I spent my money to get a whole motherfucking Whopper or Big Mac, wherever you want to go, and the fries. I'm not trying to eat half the shit now and then wait for the rest later. What type of shit is that? But it's like these gamers accept this shit like it's like we wait for the patch, and like I shouldn't have to wait after I paid. I dropped $60 fucking on this shit. I shouldn't have to wait for a goddamn thing. I want my shit ready now. That's what I paid the shit for. And then people shouldn't even be hyped. All this hype shit. No, you shouldn't be. People should just let the game do what it do, and then just and then you play it. Be like, okay, this game is the shit, or like, you know what I'm saying? And there's like the whole concept of going gold. Like, they fucked CD Projekt Red for every game ever. Every game ever. They fucked up the gold standard for any game that says they went gold. People gonna be looking at them funny like, oh, you went gold, word? Like, who's to say you might delay it after you went gold? CD Projekt Red, like, it shook the confidence of the shit now. People gonna be looking like, oh, you went gold. That don't mean nothing now. Because back in the day, it was like, your game went gold, that bitch was ready. Now, it's like, you went gold, I don't know about that now. Because they fucked up. They fucked up the standard now. Because you can't say, and you can't say you went gold and you were delaying the shit. Then, another point. Everybody keeps skipping over this fact. They delayed the shit from November 19th to December 10th. Cause they said they wanted to test it out on 8 platforms. So we got the PlayStation 5. You got the Xbox Series 1X, whatever. You got PC, that's 3. Stadia was 4. I guess the Steam platform was 5. So I heard 8. So where were the other 3 at? The other 3 must have been the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One or whatever the fuck it is. And then there's another one missing. That's what I heard. Now somebody may correct me, be like, no, it wasn't that. Then my bad. But from what I remember, they delayed it from November 19th to December 10th because they wanted to test the shit on 8 different platforms. So, if my shit was true, that means you've seen this shit happen. You've seen the bugs. You've seen Jackie pull the gun out of his head. You've seen shit like that. Now, the devs could have been like, yo, what the fuck is this? And they said something up in management and they was like, release it anyway. And they was like, but why it's not fixed? Like, we want holiday money. And it was like, fuck it. Or everybody conveniently didn't see this. Or you had like everybody who tested this shit out had perfect copies. It's one of the two. You didn't see it, or you seen it and couldn't do nothing about it, or whatever. But it had to have been one of those two. Like, this was bad. This was real bad. And then it's like I don't know. Like, this is Black Desert back here. Now I'm like, if I'm gonna have a creator character, I'm modeling my shit off of this. Because a lot of people said you could have bought Black Desert and just had the character creator. You could have just bought it for the character creator alone. Because it's like you could do a lot of shit. A lot of shit. I mean, do you see them? They made Anne Hathaway. They made Cumberbatch. You see them making mad celebrities with the shit. Somebody even made Michael Jackson. I'm like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I guess like what, Dark Souls or whatever the fuck is called. Somebody put out Kanye West. If you have a character creator, because I like character creators, obviously, because I'm making my own shit. Why you... Cyberpunk shit was completely janky. I mean, it was almost like a PlayStation 3 character customization. I'm like, what is... It just felt lackluster. And then you got the shit... I said this shit when this started. I was like, look, please explain to me, because I never seen anything like this before. Because I don't play a lot of the games people like hype up to the 10th degree. Unless it's something special about the shit. Like, I played GTA before 3 came. I played the original 1 and 2 in 99. I never got on the... I was already on the Grand Theft Auto train before people hyped it up. So all this shit about like I think it's Skyrim, how you could create a character, but it's in first person. See, I didn't know none of that. I didn't know. No, 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 no. Cyberpunk is the first game I'm hearing where it's like there's a character creator, but it's in first person. That shit was like, why have a character creator then? They should have just had a stock dude, a stock chick. That's it. What was the point? It was, and then like I said, you go into edit mode and brain dance. You could go in third person. You could see your character in the mirror. You could see the character when you go into the inventory. It's like they did everything in their power to not give you third person when you're playing the game 90% of the time. It was like they did everything to skip over the shit. It's like you had got a DA officer or some shit. You're like, you got the drugs. They're like, I got some candy. They're like, yeah, I mean, but do you have like real drugs? They're like, look, I'm selling roses over here. You get two for $5. And it's like, look, I mean, roses, candy. I mean, those are like code names for drugs, right? He like, see, I got all types of toys in the back. It's like, you motherfucker, I know this shit is just say it. Just say these are drugs. Just put third person in it. You already got the shit in the game. Motherfucker, your first game, like the whole Witcher series was in third person. Copy and paste. Control C, Control V. Put that copy and paste all the rigging shit from Witcher to this, and you didn't do anything, but you got a character customization. That was weird. That is some weird fucking shit. Why the fuck do you got a character customization in your game and you can't see the shit you customize? That was stupid. And truth be told, to me, it really feels like it was supposed to be in third person, but somebody at the top was like, no, it's in first person. And then the people was just like, fuck it. And they didn't put their heart and soul into the shit, because you already got examples like Black Desert showing you like how detailed and deep you could make this shit. Cyberpunk just felt like PlayStation 3 somewhere. And that's one of the things I really didn't like about this game. Like, not only it's a first person shooter, you got a character customization, and you just talking about the fucking dick size. Like, you gonna wear pants, so I don't give a fuck if you can make the dick big or not. I got a big dick in real life. I mean, come on, man. You could have stop trying to get people to like, oh, you could make the dick size big. Like, stop trying to use little shit in your game to hype it up like that. The dick size was irrelevant. I mean, like I said, you're gonna be wearing pants anyway, and then you couldn't. And then if there's a bulge in your pants, you gotta put the camera down to see it. If it was third person, you just rotate the camera around the front of the motherfucker and see the dick. So it was just like all the dick shit was irrelevant to begin with. Stop. That was completely stupid to begin with. Just to get people like, ooh, I could change the size of my dick. Like I said, I'm in real life, I'm cool. And then I made a female V anyway, a corporate. So all that dick shit didn't matter. But for those who made a dude, you're going to be wearing pants anyway. So that was still, unless you could just run around butt ass naked. But I don't want to see no naked dude. If I want to see somebody naked, I'll see a naked bitch. So all that shit is done. That was all enough of the decisions that they hyped up was stupid. And then when you can only see your shit in, then if you in a car, you went in third person mode, which I have to keep pressing right on the D-pad 3 or 4 times for the camera to finally switch. If you in a car in the third person, you couldn't see him. The only way you could see the motherfucker is on a bike. Like, you had to do too much for this shit. You did too much to not give people third person just so you could have the excuse not to be like GTA in the future. Nobody would have fucking cared. You got Red Dead Redemption. Like I said, Red Dead Redemption would have been a solid Netflix series or movie series or some shit. The thing that fucked up Red Dead Redemption is the gameplay, the acting, top notch. The music, the soundtrack, top notch. I still listen to at least a song every day at least. That soundtrack is the shit. Final Fantasy VII, Sonic songs, and Red Dead Redemption, my top 3 like video game soundtracks of all time. But the gameplay was trash. GTA is a 7-year-old game still kicking everybody's ass in the industry. But this could have rivaled them though. This game could have rivaled at least a contender. At least it would have been a solid contender. Not like Saints Row with they goof ass. They could have seriously been a solid contender. Like, oh shit, third person is GTA in the future though. But nobody would have cared because people was like, Red Dead was boring. The online is trash. People abandoned that shit. Cyberpunk is the way to go. It's GTA in the future, but it's cool. If you was trying to avoid people heating up on your game for that, that's small potatoes compared to what's going on with you now. People were heating up on you mad hard. This, matter of fact, I didn't even want to make a video about this to begin with, but then I was like, I don't know what I was gonna create, so I'm just going on a rant, which I did 2 years ago, but I took the shit down. But I'm basically saying everything I'm saying now. I said this because you could even go on my motherfucking Instagram history and see I was talking about the third person 2 years ago. I was on their neck about that then. I made a whole hour something long video, but I took it down because I went too hard. But some cyberpunk fanatic got mad, and now we ain't friends. So I was like, damn. But I was like, fuck it, whatever. But if, like I said, if you worried about people heating up on you because you, like, we don't want to put third person so we won't be like GTA, that's nothing compared to what's going on now. That's the least of your problems. But you fucked up. And all that shit, all that whole, we leave greed to others, and it comes out when it's ready like a bitch. And all this other shit. It's like you deserve what you get. You should never come back from that because you made it seem like you was like the darling of the video game industry. You could do no wrong. People put you up on a pedestal. People said all this shit about you. All the Witches, the greatest RPG of all time. Like, I never played it, but it's like people said it. Whatever. I mean, whatever. I mean, people, CD Projekt Red was the shit in other people's eyes, and then you just pissed it all away. Pissed it all away because you wanted holiday money. How is that holiday money though? Because if people getting refunds, you got to give some of that holiday money back instead of just being like Scrooge McDuck and swimming in the shit. Now you looking stupid. Now you gotta, and people keep talking about No Man's Sky. I never played that, but if you like this, people talk about No Man's Sky was like this, and I mean, it's just like, fuck it, man. Y'all got played. Y'all got it. And this just goes to the video game industry entirely. And then you got like other people saying, well, Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption ran fine. Like, I didn't even experience, truth be told, Red Dead Redemption, I don't remember seeing any bugs, and I'm playing on the base PlayStation 4. I didn't see nothing crazy. They they messed up bad. They messed up. And but a lot of people was talking about, oh, that's why you shouldn't pre-order shit. Whenever The Witcher 4 comes out, if they make a Witcher 4, we're going to see people pre-order. We're going to see a whole bunch of people pre-ordering this shit. People going to be like, Cyber, what? They're going to forget all about this shit because people got short attention spans nowadays. Next year, or like 2 years from now, let them release a trailer to Witcher 4, and people gonna forget all about this cyberpunk shit. And it's the same. They could have the same staff, the same upper management, but people gonna be like, some people might come like, oh yeah, remember y'all said y'all was gonna pre-order nothing, but then it's gonna be like, oh, but it's The Witcher though. I'm gonna have my $60 nicely in my bank account. I'm gonna be cool. But all this other shit, the only thing I can't even say that at this point. Well, the only two games I would pre-order is like the Final Fantasy Remake 2 and GTA 6. But if it was like some other game that I was like, okay, this looks cool, like just some random game, I wouldn't rush out to pre-order this shit. And then especially how I'm feeling now, even with GTA 6, especially if they're in the back in the 70s or 80s like they said they are. That pre-order sale is gonna be kind of like questionable. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like. It depends on how far you go back. You know what I mean? Like Black Desert is kind of like that whole medieval Middle Ages shit, but at least it got that magic. It's kind of like sorcery and shit. So that's. But most of the time, if you going back far into like 1300s or it's like, look at Red Dead Redemption. Look how far back you went. It's boring because you take all the fun out of all the new shit that you could put in there. If you, I'm gonna say this: the '80s is as far back I would go with your shit, but then it's even like, even the seven. No, it all depends because I got Mafia 3 and I like that game, and that was like what, in the '60s. But it was the story they told though. So I gave like a special pass for that. Depending on your story, I would go back with that with the '60s. But primarily though, my shit is the '80s somewhat, but definitely the '90s into the future. I got Red Dead Redemption because I did believe the hype because of GTA 5. But then I played it, I'm like, I'm falling asleep riding a horse. I beat the shit in 4 days because it was like, damn, I wanted this to be over with. You got John, he working like it's a real job, and these games be trying to make you feel like it's, like I said, it's a chore at this point. It's just a whole thing. The game industry needs to change badly. Oh, but I have shit to change. Oh, I got ideas that make that shit real different. Oh, there's some things that you can do. Oh, believe me, there's some things you can do to change this shit. It will be a refreshing take if they just hollered at me. And I'm not saying this shit just to be on some shit like, cause it's me. I know what to do. No, again, I played this shit for 30 years, 31 years. I've seen this shit. And nobody's ever done this stuff. But I'm not gonna say nothing. Oh, I'm not gonna say nothing. Not me. But there's some things you can do, but the industry won't do it. And then this is the thing I don't understand about these gamers though. Like I heard too many stories. Like what they say, if you got three different life paths, they start off different, but the majority of the game is the same. It's like, look, on some real shit, you asking for a company like for Cyberpunk, in order for them to please you on that front, they would literally have to make three different games then. You would have it so the street kid and corporate would just only do missions in Night City. They could go to the Badlands, but it's like they would never meet like Pan Am or whatever her name was, or shit like that. Like all the Badlands shit wouldn't exist. And then the Nomad, they just stay mostly in the Badlands. Like they won't have missions in Night City. They can go there, but they just wouldn't have nothing to do there. Unless like, like some random event or some shit. But like story wise, like I said, basically you, and then even with corporate and street kid, like every path would be like three different stories. That's basically what you're asking for. You would literally have to have somebody writing like mad scripts three different times for the same game. And these companies ain't got the time to be doing all that shit. So like saying like this to be expected that the start and the beginning was different, but all the stuff in the middle, it just is what it is. You, like I said, you asking for too much for like a company to do all this shit, to be honest. You know what I mean? But all I could do is just look in the mirror. But on one hand, but you asking for too much. So that's kind of like a unnecessary criticism. You would have to make three different games. But anyway, Cyberpunk, they fucked up. CD Projekt Red, all of them. They fucked up bad. And people keep talking about like, oh, this is the last time we're gonna say something about it. No, it's not. Because you're gonna have to wait for them, because they're gonna have to say something with the patch. Like after Christmas, they're gonna have to say something. People gonna be making documentaries about this shit. This is going to be a case study for sure. I already saw some dude made a documentary about Bethesda. You think they ain't gonna say nothing about Cyberpunk? Oh, this is going to be in people's. This is going to be in the ether for at least another like 3 to 6 months. Especially if they ever get good or not. Because people gonna say, oh, they, after all the bugs and all the patches, they still trash. Or they finally came through with a promise. Some people gonna have to say something. Or then you're gonna have to hear about if anybody got fired. Maybe some dev is gonna speak up and blow the lid on the shit. It's gonna have to come up. This is not the end. People's attention span is like, oh, this went on too long. It's only been a week, but it went on too long, and they want to move on. But there's no other games coming out that big, and especially as big as Cyberpunk. So this is gonna be floating around for a while. Like I said, they fucked up bad. But I'm out. I'm out this bitch. They fucked up bad. Ooh. CD Projekt Red will have to get on their knees and start sucking a lot of dick to get people back on their side. But that's how I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it with that. Wow.